There are battles fought for territory. There are battles fought for pride. There are battles fought because two warriors seek to prove whose strength is greater. Then there are battles that should never happen at all. For some conflicts are not contests between rivals. They are collisions between entirely different understandings of existence itself. Far beyond the countless stars of the known cosmos, beyond dimensions that could be measured and beyond realities that could be imagined, two kingdoms existed without ever knowing the other. The first was the kingdom of humanity. It was not truly a kingdom in the traditional sense. It was a civilization scattered across worlds, cities, and dreams. It was the endless cycle of ordinary lives. Children grew into adults. Workers rose before dawn. Heroes protected the weak. Villains challenged the strong. The people of this kingdom measured worth through effort. Every achievement was earned. Every mountain climbed required labor. Every victory demanded sacrifice. At the center of this kingdom lived a man who had unknowingly become its ultimate symbol, not because he ruled, not because he commanded armies, not because he possessed divine authority, but because he had become the embodiment of humanity's oldest dream, the dream that no obstacle could ever remain unconquered. His name was Saitama. The people did not fully understand him. Even the heroes who stood beside him failed to comprehend what he truly represented. To some, he was a joke. To others, he was a mystery. To a few, he was a miracle. Yet all of them sensed the same thing. When danger appeared, Saitama ended it. When monsters emerged, Saitama prevailed. When impossibility stood before him, impossibility lost. His kingdom viewed reality as a challenge. Reality was something to overcome. Limits were obstacles. Growth was inevitable. The future belonged to those willing to surpass yesterday. Across countless worlds, that belief spread like a sacred doctrine. No matter how impossible the challenge seemed, there would always be another level, another transformation, another breakthrough, another punch. The kingdom of humanity worshipped progress, and at its highest peak stood Saitama. Far beyond that kingdom existed another, a realm that could not be mapped, a civilization that could not be measured, a dominion whose foundations were older than time itself. The kingdom of the Morningstar. There were no cities there, no roads, no marketplaces, no governments, no need for such things. This kingdom existed as an expression of pure will. It was a place where thought shaped reality and intention carried greater weight than matter. Its ruler sat upon no throne. He required none. A throne implied authority granted by others. His authority belonged entirely to himself. His name was Lucifer Morningstar. He was not merely powerful. Power itself was too small a word. Stars could be extinguished. Universes could collapse. Dimensions could shatter. Concepts could die. Yet Lucifer remained. Not because he resisted destruction, but because destruction belonged to a lower order of existence. The kingdom of the Morningstar was founded upon a radically different belief than the kingdom of humanity. Humanity believed limits existed to be surpassed. Lucifer believed limits were illusions created by lesser minds. Humanity sought growth. Lucifer sought understanding. Humanity struggled against reality. Lucifer understood reality as something subordinate to will. Where Saitama represented endless ascent, Lucifer represented transcendence. The difference seemed subtle. It was not. One philosophy asked how high a being could climb. The other asked who had built the mountain. For eons, these kingdoms remained separate. Neither interfered with the other. Neither acknowledged the other's existence. Until the day the barrier separating them disappeared. It began as a ripple, a tiny disturbance in the structure of existence. Across galaxies, stars flickered. Across dimensions, timelines trembled. Across realities, laws hesitated. The multiverse itself seemed uncertain. Something was approaching. Something unprecedented. In the kingdom of humanity, scientists observed impossible readings. Heroes reported disturbances beyond explanation. Psychics sensed an intelligence so vast that language failed to describe it. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of the Morningstar, Lucifer opened his eyes. For the first time in ages, something had attracted his attention. Not because it threatened him, nothing threatened him, but because it intrigued him. Far away, he perceived a peculiar anomaly, a mortal, a being whose strength continued growing beyond every known framework, a creature who broke systems simply by existing. a man who had become stronger than the narrative surrounding him. Lucifer examined the anomaly, and for the first time in countless ages, he smiled. Elsewhere, Saitama was shopping. The contrast could not have been greater. One entity observed the foundations of creation. The other worried about missing a supermarket discount. Yet destiny rarely cared about appearances. The collision began without warning. Reality split. The sky fractured. An enormous golden horizon emerged above Earth. Every hero looked upward. Every monster froze. Every living thing felt it, not fear, not exactly, awareness. The awareness that something infinitely larger than themselves had entered the equation. Saitama stared upward. That was all he said. The heavens opened. A staircase of light descended from impossible heights. At its summit stood Lucifer Morningstar. The air itself seemed uncertain around him. Physics struggled to define him. Space failed to contain him. Existence bent instinctively around his presence. For several moments neither spoke. The silence stretched across dimensions, then Lucifer stepped forward. Interesting. Saitama scratched his head. Another monster. No, alien. No, God. Lucifer considered the question, then smiled. No, Saitama sighed. Okay. Across the cosmos, observers watch. Entities older than galaxies watch. Powers greater than universes watch. Even concepts themselves seemed to pause, because everyone understood the significance of what was about to happen. This was not merely a contest of strength. This was a confrontation between philosophies. Saitama represented limitless escalation. Lucifer represented transcendence beyond escalation. The first strike arrived suddenly. Saitama moved. Entire mountain ranges exploded beneath his feet. The atmosphere ignited, space distorted, time lagged behind his acceleration. His fist crossed impossible distances instantly. The punch carried enough force to erase planets, perhaps entire star systems, perhaps more. Reality screamed as it approached Lucifer's face, and then it stopped. Not because Lucifer blocked it, not because he dodged, not because he countered. The attack simply ceased to exist. Saitama blinked, the force vanished, the momentum vanished, the consequence vanished. Lucifer had not overpowered the punch, he had removed its relevance. The distinction mattered a great deal. For the first time, Saitama looked confused, Lucifer looked amused. You possess extraordinary strength. Thanks. Strength is only meaningful inside a framework. Saitama frowned. Stepped closer, you break limits. Yeah, you overcome barriers. Usually, you transcend expectations. I guess, Lucifer nodded. And yet all those achievements require expectations to exist first. Battlefields shifted, stars disappeared, galaxies dissolved, reality transformed around them. Suddenly they stood within a vast void, infinite, silent, empty. No matter existed, no energy existed, no dimensions existed, only themselves. Saitama looked around. Lucifer raised a hand. Demonstrate your strength. Saitama shrugged, then punched. The void shattered, universes erupted into existence. Entire timelines blossomed from the shockwave. Countless realities formed instantly. Lucifer observed quietly. The feat was absurd. Creation born accidentally from physical force. Yet his expression remained unchanged, because power alone was never the question. The newly formed universes suddenly froze, then reversed, then collapsed, then vanished. Lucifer had not attacked them. He had merely withdrawn the permission for their existence. Saitama stared. For the first time, a small crack appeared in his confidence, not fear, confusion. Every opponent he had ever faced existed somewhere on a ladder. No matter how high they climbed, he climbed higher. But Lucifer was not standing on the ladder. He was standing outside the building. The realization began settling in. Saitama accelerated again, this time faster, far faster. The speed eclipsed causality itself. Thousands of attacks struck simultaneously from every direction. Each punch carried enough force to devastate entire cosmologies. Reality fractured continuously. The assault became a storm, a tidal wave, an apocalypse. Yet Lucifer remained motionless, not because he could withstand the attacks, because he did not occupy the same category as the attacks. The distinction became increasingly obvious. Saitama's strength continued growing. The force multiplied endlessly. Every second brought exponential escalation. The phenomenon that defined him intensified. He surpassed his previous self, then surpassed that self, then surpassed that self again. power climbed toward infinity, Lucifer watched calmly, because infinity inside a system remained inside a system. For perhaps the first time in his life, he understood something. He understood that he was facing an opponent whose advantage was not greater power. It was a fundamentally higher order of existence. There existed an opponent whose nature could not be solved through greater force, and somehow that realization excited him. One final charge began, every ounce of strength, every fragment of growth, every impossible escalation, everything Saitama represented gathered into a single attack. The kingdom of humanity itself seemed to stand behind him. Every dream, every effort, every victory, every refusal to surrender. All of it condensed into one final punch, the greatest strike he had ever thrown. The punch crossed infinity. The punch shattered causality. The punch transcended dimensions. The punch annihilated boundaries. The punch reached Lucifer, and Lucifer smiled, not mockingly, respectfully. Then he spoke one sentence. "You have climbed higher than any mortal should." The attack stopped, not resisted, not blocked, not overpowered, simply rendered irrelevant, like a story reaching its final page, like a question finding its answer, a journey arriving at its destination. The force dissolved, the momentum faded, the battle ended, silence returned. The void remained. Saitama stood quietly, then laughed. A simple laugh, the laugh of someone who finally understood. Lucifer approached. No triumph, no arrogance, no celebration, only recognition. The Morningstar looked upon the greatest champion of limitless growth and acknowledged him. "You are extraordinary," Saitama shrugged. "Yeah, guess you're stronger." Lucifer shook his head. "No," Saitama looked confused. Lucifer's final explanation carried through creation itself. Strength was never the deciding factor. Distinction completed the battle. Saitama could continue growing forever. He could become stronger every second for all eternity. But growth, however limitless, remains a process. Lucifer Morningstar existed beyond process, beyond progression, beyond the hierarchy through which progression gained meaning. One represented infinite ascent. The other represented transcendence of ascent itself. And thus the kingdom of humanity bowed before the kingdom of the Morningstar, not through domination, not through conquest, but through philosophical inevitability, for the climber may scale every mountain,